let's talk about his value. He's
Yeah.
eligible for an extension next year, and sometimes it looks like he's worth $60 million a year, and sometimes it doesn't. We're 5 games in. He's 2-3. He has 6 touchdown passes this year, 4 picks, 2 fumbles lost. So that's 6 touchdowns, 6 turnovers, 5 games. Is his stock up? Is his stock down? How do you assess him?
I mean, it can only be stock down. It can only be stock down. If we're being honest, like he might get that money because what's the alternative? But it has to be stock down. He's not playing like he was. He's trending 20 touchdowns and 21 turnovers. He has, I believe, 20 touchdowns and 21 turnovers. That's what he's trending right now. That's not good enough. His numbers are down from last year outside of yards per game. Yards per game is up. Everything else is down. Who cares about yards per game? I don't. How are you converting? Are you putting up touchdowns? When's the last time he had 2 touchdowns in a single game? I think Jesse's been talking about this.
He did it against the Rams, but that's it one time.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. When does that happen? It's been
the Rams game. But again, like that was it. Oh, he had a fumble in that game. True. Yeah. He had a fumble in that game. Yeah.
2 touchdowns, no turnovers. I think it's been Jesse was talking about. It's been like
it's been a while.
10 games, 11 games, something like that. It's been a long time. Yeah, it has to be stock down. I like Brock. I like his leadership. I like his personality. I like Brock in the Kyle Shanahan system under that identity that we have all come accustomed to. I don't like I like the aggressiveness I've seen from Brock, but it all has to be balanced. This scramble around and highlight play Russell Wilson type stuff that we've seen. I'm not a fan of it. Like, stay within the system, take your shots. You've proven that you can go deep. To me, he has to be Brock Purdy from last year. He can't be this Brock Purdy that we've seen this year. It is stock down, and it's not as good. You're losing, right? Everyone attributes quarterbacks wins to quarterbacks. Well, he's not winning right now. They're 2-3. He's turning the ball over as much as he's scoring touchdowns. It has to be stock down. Now, can he turn it around? Sure. And he has a good opportunity Thursday against Mike McDonald, who brought it to Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy when he was the Ravens defensive coordinator last year, and Brock Purdy threw 4 interceptions. If he can overcome that, that's a big boost for Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy this Thursday. So he can still turn it around. It's only week 6, but as of right now, absolutely, stock has to be down.
All right, let me give you some stats for Brock Purdy. His completion percentage is 65.6. Last year was 69.4. His touchdown percentage is 3.8. Last year was 7. His interception percentage is 2.5. That's right on his career average. His yards per pass attempt, 8.8. Last year it was 9.6. His quarterback rating is 95. Last year it was 113. So across the board, his numbers are down. And I think it's interesting. Like, the same thing happened to Jimmy. Okay. Jimmy went to the Super Bowl in 2019. His numbers were good. He completed 69% of his throws, 27 touchdowns, 13 picks, quarterback rating 102. He was statistically a good quarterback that year. Then he lost. Then he comes back the next year, plays 6 games, goes 3-3, quarterback rating of 67, completion percentage of 67, 7 touchdown passes, 5 picks, quarterback rating of 92. That's almost exactly like Brock Purdy's line right now. 3-3, Brock's 2-3. I mean, it's very similar, and I think it's troubling that we already saw one quarterback go to a Super Bowl, lose, and never really recover in this system, get kind of exposed and figured out and didn't adjust. And right now it seems like the same thing's happening to Brock, and his adjustment is to scramble around. And it doesn't seem like that's a good adjustment.
I love Brock leadership. I love his mobility, but I mean, this is just not good enough to commit to for multiple years at $60 million right now, the way he's playing. Now, can he adjust and get better? Sure. It's entirely possible. And he might just do that because right now his trending 20 touchdowns is far below the mean for Brock Purdy. I don't know if this is like a revelation of this is who Brock Purdy is, or if it's just the struggle with Kyle Shanahan and his loss of identity in these first 5 games. That's TBD, yet to be determined, but it's not good. As of right now, after week 5, losing the Cardinals, his stock is down, and I'm not comfortable paying him $60 million. If he bounces back and gets to the Brock Purdy from last year, then that's the market rate, and you do what you do. But we got to see that happen.
I think I think the loss of Christian McCaffrey is exposing Purdy to a degree. I think with McCaffrey on this team, Kyle talked about it a lot. Defenses would really overreact to him in the passing game and they would double cover him a lot, and his presence on the field would create openings for other players. Kind of like how call it gravity, kind of like how Steph Curry does that for his teammates. I think Christian McCaffrey did that a lot, and I think Brock Purdy was really good at finding the open guy, not forcing it to anyone, taking what the defense gave him, which was a lot. Now that's not a factor anymore. McCaffrey's not out there. People aren't as open. He has to play real quarterback, real NFL quarterback. It's not just find the wide open guy anymore because he's not out there. And the results are Jimmy G-esque.
Well, if the loss of CMC makes you look bad as a quarterback or as the head coach who's supposed to be an offensive genius, then you're not an offensive genius and you're not a quarterback that deserves $60 million. Again, it's early. He could get back to the way he was, but you can't just base everything around Christian McCaffrey. If that's the case, then it's really not Brock that's doing this. You can bring in anybody off the street if it's just Christian McCaffrey that's making this offensive click, or you can get any head coach if it's just Christian McCaffrey that's making this offensive click. You're an offensive genius. You're getting paid $14 million a year, something like that. Make it happen with Jordan Mason. And Brock, if you want $60 million, look, this is year 3 for Brock. He's had a fantastic story. But if you want $60 million, man, you got to be able to do it with the weapons you have, and you do have weapons. It's not like you don't have anybody out there just because you lost Christian McCaffrey. Your running back is the second lead rusher in the NFL in Jordan Mason. He's shown that he can catch the ball when you throw to him. So throw to him. You have George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Trent Williams. That should be enough for both Brock and Kyle Shanahan, and I'm not going to let them get by on this CMC excuse, even if it is.
No, it's not an excuse, but it is informative because you take away Christian McCaffrey is the offensive player of the year. He is that good. And you take him off of this offense, I think you realize like, well, Purdy's never going to be an MVP candidate without the offensive player in the year in the backfield with him. Brandon Ayuk's never going to be an offensive player of the year candidate. Deebo's way on the downside of his career, as is George Kittle. Like there is absolutely a domino effect to losing Christian McCaffrey. And it's good that the Niners see it now before they keep giving out more money to people who don't need it.
Here's the thing. If they don't figure it out this year, they need a refresh. If they don't make the playoffs, Kyle needs to be fired, in my opinion. I've never said fire Kyle yet, but if they don't make the playoffs, they need to fire him because this team is too good for that. And it obviously feels like the team is not bought in anymore if they don't make the playoffs. So that's what I'm saying right now is if Kyle Shanahan doesn't take this team to the playoffs with this roster, he should be done. And they need to maybe franchise tag Brock Purdy and see what he can do with another offensive coordinator before committing to him long-term at $60 million per year. It feels like it's now or never, and this team is going to look a lot different if they don't put it all together right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was just last week when he beat the Patriots and everyone was saying, man, he's playing the best football of his career. Now another loss, and you're looking back at it, it's like, you know what? He's really not playing the best football of his career. He's playing the worst football of his career, and it's going to be interesting to see if he can pull himself out of it.